Hey everybody, welcome back to The Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in today to this special episode on the Impex One Step of Getz Gilberto. I'm going to tell you all about this fabulous release in a moment. Before I get started, I wanted to remind everyone that there's still time to get in on the Milestone Giveaway for a sealed Blue Note tone poet of Dexter Gordon's One Flight Up. This is in celebration of reaching 10,000 subscribers. We're a little bit shy, probably about 180 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you'd like to get in on the giveaway, watch the video and leave a comment as instructed in the comment section of that video, and you'll be entered into the drawing automatically, which will happen on air as soon as we pass 10,000 subscribers. So please check that out. And thank you so much for your support. When I was growing up, I grew up in middle-class white America on a cul-de-sac street in New Hampshire. There was a dozen families or more on this street, all young families with children. All the children were my friends. We would visit each other's houses all the time. These houses were built probably in the late 50s, and they were modest by most standards, perfectly middle class. But one feature of them that I always noticed was there was a renovation done to the basement to make it into a bar party room kind of thing. A lounge, a place for the parents to unwind, to entertain their friends, have parties and so forth, or a place to escape and listen to some music. This was very interesting to me. My own house had that as well. A nice big stone bar, just like a little club almost downstairs. I moved into it eventually when I was a teenager. But one thing I always noticed as I visited my friend's house, I was immediately drawn to the parents' record collection. And it was usually located in these party rooms. So one thing that I always noticed was this. I was always drawn to this cover, and I saw it in almost everyone's collection. People that weren't even into jazz. And the reason I remember it so vividly is the vivid painting on it and the striking typography and black framing. It just popped out. The painting is by Olga Abizu, who did a beautiful job with this, evoking this tropical feeling for this perfect bossa nova jazz album. The impact of this record can't be overstated. I mean, it made its way into middle-class homes. People that weren't even into jazz loved this record. And one of the reasons is the popularity of the hit single, which everybody heard, The Girl from Ipanema, featuring Gilberto, I'm sorry. The vocal on that just won everyone's heart. It just melted your heart, and it took you to a place that you probably hadn't experienced before. A place that you wanted to go. The beautiful beaches of Brazil and the swaying tropical bossa nova beat. It was so beautiful and so widespread. This record won Grammy Awards. It was on the Billboard for months and months and months, and it's been continuously in print since then. Pretty much. Verve themselves reissued it countless times. And the Stereo Master has picked up a little bit of problems here and there. I don't think they're as severe, but they're well known, and to Impex's credit, they have put in a technical sheet in this to let you know about the condition of the tapes and why they chose to do an AAA reissue where they wouldn't be able to digitally correct anything. And I think this is admirable. The tape is in good enough shape to produce a beautiful record. And for those that are analog purists, they would not go for a digital record. So this is kind of what we have to accept if we want all analog pressings of 60-year-old tapes. In this case, I don't feel like it's a big problem. There's one little place that stands out to me on this and several of the other pressings I listened to. It's the dropout in Girl from Ipanema. It's brief. Sometimes I don't notice it, sometimes I do. And I hate to point it out, but because once you know it's there, you kind of always hear it. And this is not a record that I want to encourage people to examine with a microscope. That's not really the purpose. The purpose is to enjoy this music. I mean, this music that is so incredible. If you focus on flaws, you're always going to find them, but the flaws are in the master tape for the last 30 years. All the audiophile reissues have it. So what do you get with this? Well, let me say one thing about this. I really raised an eyebrow when Impex decided to release this, or announce that they were going to release this. I was like, okay, this has been reissued a lot by audiophile companies. There are several great reissues that are highly regarded out there. Why would Impex pick kind of a warhorse title? An important one, no doubt. But after praising them for the choice of the Lark for the Heifetz reissue, which is totally off the radar, this was like, oh, okay, then they're going to do an off reissue title. But this is Impex we're talking about. They're going to do it better than anyone. And if I know Impex, it's going to be fully annotated, every detail thought out, a beautiful presentation, and kind of a keepsake kind of thing. They like to produce editions that you are proud to own. And AB Fawn has done a beautiful job with this one. Let's start with the slipcase. The slipcase, oh, don't fall over. I've already had an accident with this. The slipcase is pebble grain. It looks like canary yellow pebble grain leather. It feels like a luxury product. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's solid, it's wide, it's perfectly sized, it's perfectly finished. I have to tell you though, I had a little accident with this, and I got so upset. I was like, I can't make the video today. I was cleaning my wood desk. I said, let me get everything just perfect for this video. I usually sit on a piano bench under here, and I had all the materials for this box set here, and I was using some furniture oil on the desk, and to my horror, I looked down and I was like, oh my God, I've dropped 2 drops of oil on the back of this. My heart sank. I was really upset, really upset. I almost cried, but I'm kind of getting over it. I'm going to reach out to Impex and offer to pay for one because this set deserves to be perfect in every way, and that was my fault. I'm so upset with myself about that. It rarely happens, and I just got a little overexcited about this. So, yeah, but the Impex is the Impex outer jacket. The slipcase is top notch. Crafts are beautiful too. I think the one-step boxes and the UHQR boxes are a little too much. This is just right. It sits on the shelf beautifully, and it looks great. The Monster Pack jacket. Now, this reproduction is excellent. It's probably the best of all the reissues I looked at and closest to an original, but better. But better. The original never looked so strikingly black and glossy, and and you see every detail of the brush strokes in here. Whoever does the art at who oversees the artwork at Impex has a wonderful eye for detail. Look at this. This didn't appear on the originals. This is a new typesetting specifically for this release. And as someone who has experience in typography and graphic design, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is so striking. It looks like period specific, but something we've never seen. And, you know, normally I like things reissued as they originally looked, but in this case, with this kind of special treatment, I think this is very inspired, and it looks absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful type, color. Everything is drawn from the painting, and you get a little bit of texture here. And of course, the whole arrangement is just perfect. Really, really nice. The booklet, as I said, It's a little hard to show you. I'm not going to do a full overview, but let's take a look quickly. The booklet. This, I hesitate to call this a booklet because it's really a book within this thick monster pack gatefold. And it's not just a throwaway book. So many times you see inserts in these luxury pressings that cost a lot of money, excuse me, that are throwaways. They're like 4 pages with nothing of interest on them. You know, or even just something stuck in there just to give you a little extra value. Impex doesn't work like that. They spent probably months, if not a year, on this booklet, gathering interviews from the Getz family. And Charles Granada did a wonderful essay on the whole movement of bossa nova. They gathered pictures from Monica Getz archives. There's comments from the artists at the time, information about the sessions, about the recording, about Phil Ramone, the producer, about the studio, about the tape used, about the microphones, about how Astrid was discovered. And yeah, it's extensive, it's fabulous, it enriches the experience of listening to this set. Absolutely, a great, great added value to the set. Also, there's a technical notes insert in here. Let me see if I can grab it. Where is it? I don't want this to fall over again because I don't want to have another accident. This is the technical notes. So there we go. This shows you and explains the condition of the tapes, why they were chosen, and so forth. Very good. You know, so much work went into this, from hunting down the correct tapes to making all the, you know, the legal arrangements and everything to release this, meeting with the family, getting them involved, and making all the choices for the production of the record. And this is an important thing. To produce this record, they chose the best of everything. So not only is it cut at 45, which most people feel that reveals the most information in the best way possible. So cutting at 45 is a big factor in a jump in sound quality. Using the one-step process. This is an expensive process. It's fraught with difficulty, absolutely. You can only reproduce 500 from each stamper, and you can only make so many stampers because you can't run the tape that often. In this case, you're doing 7,500. Also, the one-step process brings you closer to the sound of the lacquer. It eliminates several steps in the production process of the record that can introduce noise into the record. And the whole point of this exercise is to get the quietest possible pressing. And to that end, the one-step process is very important, I would say. I think I heard the effects of the one-step process more in this than I have in anything. The use of VR 900 vinyl, the Neotech vinyl compound. Difficult to work with, expensive, but the results are worth it. Rick Hashimoto over at RTI, I think, supervises this one-step production. So there's extra quality control going into it, and the pressings come out beautifully. They're translucent, the vinyl compound's translucent, and the noise floor is vanishingly low. This is important for a record like this because all these factors give you the most quiet possible surface, and the music emerges from blackness, and details are heard that were not heard before. It's amazing. When handled correctly, it's amazing, and Impex made sure everything here was handled correctly and done to the best it could be done. The choice of mastering engineer. Now this is, of course, the deciding factor. I think of all the mastering engineers currently working on audiophile reissues, I think Bernie Grundman is the right choice. He has a wonderful ear for jazz music. His jazz reissues usually come out beautiful. And he has a great ear. He has so much experience. I think he's the right choice for this, and the results speak for themselves. So you have everything top-notch, everything. Packaging, all the technical stuff, all the background, everything is geared to make of the finest reissue possible. It doesn't matter though, unless the sound is great. Fortunately, it's great. I'm going to tell you about some of the other pressings I heard and the differences in their approach. Now, I want to say one thing about this. You know, there are great pressings out there already. You may have one of them. I'm going to discuss 4 of them that I listened to, and some that I heard briefly. A friend came over and brought some originals, some Japanese pressings. We listened to them briefly. They were all compromised in some way. We focused mainly on 4 pressings. The 2 that I had, which were the Mobile Fidelity Anadisc, cut by Ken Lee, the Acoustic Sounds Verve Series release, cut by George Marino. He brought his 2x45 Analog Productions, cut by George Marino. And we had the One Step. There was also Kevin Gray cut from Speaker's Corner we listened to briefly, which was very good. I wish I had spent more time with it, but we had a very limited time window. We were doing some system changes. He offered to bring them so I could at least hear them briefly in my system. I was surprised with the MoFi, or the Mobile Fidelity, I'm sorry. The Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab Anadisc 200 gram pressing, cut by Ken Lee. It sounded beautiful. It really did. I was a little surprised because when the Acoustic Sound Series release came out, 33, I was like, oh, this is better. I didn't really give it a thorough listen, but I just assumed it's better. And it's great. It's great. It has rave reviews too. If you go on Discogs, you'll see miles of reviews for the 33 from Acoustic Sounds. But in my listening sessions on my system as it is right now, I found I like the MoFi, or the Mobile Fidelity. God, all these companies have too many names. I'm glad Impex only has one name. The Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab Anadisc sounded beautiful. If you have that, you have a great record. No doubt about it. If you have the Acoustic Sound Series release, you have a great record too. It sounds a little different. It's cut in a little more widescreen fashion. It's very, very attractive. Sometimes I feel it's cut a little hot, or some things come off a little too forward in the sax and in the vocals. The Analog Productions 45. Many people feel is the king of the hill, you know, and when I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty much excellent. Same flavor as the 33, but more of everything, obviously. And it has a romantic sound that is very, very attractive. There's no doubt about it. It's a beautiful reissue. And I want to say one thing about this. There's something for everybody. There's 4 excellent reissues I heard. Each one, well, the Mobile Fidelity is now more than the One Step, so let's put that out of the equation. But for currently available reissues, you have one at $40, you have one at $60, and you have an all-out assault on the state-of-the-art for $130 with the Impex. Each one offers something different. Obviously, the Analog Productions and the Acoustic Sounds were both cut, I think, at the same time by the same engineer, so they have a similar sound, but the 45 gives you more of everything, as you would expect. The Impex. So when I went to the Impex, I had made a couple of changes. I made sure to tweak the system completely. I checked my gain. I had the gain off a little bit. I switched the gain to 0. So it's full power coming from the phono preamp, the Mod-Right PH 9.0. I also double checked the cartridge. I tried ultra linear and triode mode on all of these. And I made sure everything was perfectly situated with the speakers, using a measuring tape, making sure everything was centered and towed in perfectly, and the results were worth it. When I put on the One Step, the first time I was like, this is really different than the Analog Productions 33. And why wouldn't it be? Why would they produce something that is exactly the same? The Impex excels in precision, in detail, in low-level detail. It is never clinical. It is never harsh at all. Bernie Grundman did a sympathetic mastering that brings you into the studio, a step closer, one step closer. It's astonishing, really, to hear how the space is rendered of the studio, and everything precision placed in the soundstage. You may think that sounds like, oh, it's maybe too clinical, and it's not. I'm here to tell you it's not clinical. Yes, compared to the Analog Productions 45, that has it's kind of like a romanticized cinematic version of it. It's very attractive. But this is for someone that wants to go deeper into the recording. And it's really worth it, because I heard things here in a way that I hadn't heard before. It gives you the feeling of intimacy that is unmatched by any of the other pressings. You feel like the performers are spread around you like this, and each one is playing off each other. It's intimate. Adding to the intimacy is a super low noise floor. In this aspect, two things came out to me that I really appreciated. Stan Getz's playing style. You know, I long ago I said, why is it recorded this way? It sounds like very gauzy and whatever. I didn't really know much about jazz at that time. But on this one, on the One Step, I understood Stan Getz in his style of playing much more, and didn't see it as a distraction. I saw it as part of his whole performance. The breath, the air, the texture, all came off as part of his performance, rather than kind of bleeding over and making it a little unclear what that sound was. I got a big appreciation for Stan Getz on this record. The way Stan Getz comes in on the One Step and the peaks are handled better, I think, than on the previous pressings. Sometimes it comes in a little hot. Sometimes it gets a little bit on edge. It has a little too much bite sometimes. In Bernie's Grundman, in Bernie's mastering, not surprisingly, it's a little bit smoother and very attractive. And I think it works better for this music. This music is smooth. And some criticisms over the years is that Stan Getz kind of stands out from it, from the beautiful rhythm section that is nice and swaying in the low levels, the vocals too, and then Stan kind of blares in there. This is a little more balanced, I think, and it works really well. It's very musical. It's very lovely. The pace and rhythm is great, and the detail is set right there, and it's very, very good. Another thing that really I noticed about this One Step is the vocals. Of course, I've always been drawn to Astrid Gilberto's vocals. It's beautiful. She hangs in space over there, or over there. No, wherever she comes from, she sounds great on the One Step. But what really struck me is Joa Gilberto's vocals. On other pressings, sometimes it's just a little too much bite. It sounds a little bit, not harsh, but emphasized, like the upper sibilants or whatever, sound emphasized. On this, the diction is so clear and so precise, it feels like he's whispering in your ear almost. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to hear that level of resolution. I could go on, but the point is, you have many great pressings of this album. There's a flavor for everyone. The full-blooded AP is very attractive, and really people should have both. For fans of this record, though, that want to go deeper into it, to see deeper into it, and hear what Bernie did with this, the Impex is an easy recommendation. Add to that the value of the package, and you have a winner. It's for people that want to experience the pinnacle of record production, of mastering, of perfectionists doing their thing. And that's what Impex does. They perfect everything and they made one of the most beautiful editions I've seen in a long time, with the sound to boot. So those are my feelings on the Impex One Step of Getz Gilberto. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you got something out of it. You know, there are many choices. As I said, you may be happy with what you have, but I feel like the Impex offers a bit more, and it's a lovely package. It's really beautiful, and audiophile and Impex need to be congratulated for this effort. I'll see you next time. I'm Scott for The Pressing Matters. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.